Hello, hello everybody. Today I will be reviewing some important points regarding the clinical pharmacology. So these are my experience of presentations during my DM residency period. So I will introduce you all about the concept of clinical pharmacology unit (CPU). That is based on trial unit and the clinical pharmacology unit by this presentation. Okay, so let's start. So if you consider the regulatory guidelines on the setting clinical pharmacology unit as mentioned in the NDCT, new drug and NDCT 2019, in the clinical pharmacology unit must have an adequate space facility to house at least 16 volunteers. Adequate area must be provided for dining, recreation of volunteers and separate from their sleeping area. So similar to any ICU, the clinical pharmacology unit or CPU unit have also some certain specifications that we are discussing in the oncoming slides. So an additional space facility should be provided for the following: office and administrative function, sample collection storage area, control sample storage, all that should be included. So a wet laboratory should be there, a instrument laboratory should be there, library should be there, and documentation and archival room should be there, and facility for washing, cleaning toilets, and microbiology laboratory and optional facility should be there if according to the study we are conducting in the clinical pharmacology unit or CPU. Radioimmunoassay room or optional, it is also should be there if you are conducting a mass balance study or initial study and phase 0 trials, that should be there. So phase 1 trial you site a clinical trial enrollment area and screening area with consisting of a dedicated room space for the patient receiving verification of credentials. Then a waiting area should be there. Then a counseling room and informed consent room should be there. Then initial screening for the routine investigation and blood testing, basic medical examination and relevant systemic examination should be arranged properly. Then the refreshment area should be there. The refreshment area. So this I taken from the website only. This is a clinical trial unit or CP unit in China. So you can see the beds are arranged and all the other facilities required for the ICU should be properly kept with necessary equipments and ventilators, and the central suction and central oxygen and nitrogen supply all should be there inside the unit, and recreational facilities should be there, and monitors and multi-parameters monitors all should be there inside the unit. So a clinical research facility, an expansive research area of, it should be an expansive research area of 6,400 square feet. So it's a 15 bed. Ideally, we can start from 5 bed, and it should be at least if a big CP unit is there, it should be 15 bed unit with an IV infusion facilities. If you want to conduct a BAB study, at least this unit, this number of beds should be there. In 11 clinical examination room and 24-hour emergency care team on standby for immediate medical attention. 24-hour clinical investigation team should be available. Clinical safety laboratory and sample processing room and temperature and access control drug storage area should be there. So access control sample storage room should be there, and comfortable lounge, dining area, archiving facility, server room, office space, CRA space, 2 waiting rooms, 2 receptions, and emergency equipments and medications. Then these instrument, essential instruments like 2 ultrasound, bedside ultrasound, X-ray, MRI, CT scan, access vital sign monitoring, ECG, Holter monitor, spirometers and multi-parameter analyzer, stadiometer, weighing scale and body thermometer. 5 freezers, 5 different types of freezers, -80, -70, -20, and 4 refrigerators, normal refrigerators should be available for the CP unit. So facilities of medical examination should be there. There should be in a separate area for medical examination to ensure the privacy. Bed for trial subjects should be there, be on wheels adjustable for height and tilt and numbered for the individual trial subject. Be far enough apart to allow easy passage of medical equipments and be fitted with curtains or screen for the subject privacy. Have lockers for the subject belongings. Have overbed tables or trays for subject to eat their meals when conformed to the bed and kept as free as possible from furniture and clutters. While subjects are in or by the beds, they must be visible to the trial staff all the time. This I have taken from the guideline for the phase 1 trial unit from ABP, Association of British Pharmaceutical Society. So bed head services should be there at the head of each bed. There should be power socket for medical and other equipments, adjustable lighting and nurse call button, and which must be tested regularly. Laundry subjects who stay on the unit for a long period should have access to the laundry service for their clothes, and all leisure areas should be inside of a supervised trial staff. Catering resident subject will require meals and prepared either by the unit or by the subcontractor depending upon the trial protocol, and special diets like such as low salt, high fat diet and the involvement of dietitian will require for some areas according to the food safety regulation. Then toilet and bathroom is another essential thing. Leisure areas should be there. During the period of resident trial, subjects have access to the leisure areas, facility like comfort seats and televisions, video, internet, and newspapers, magazine, books, and facility to make approved drinks and other short meals. In staff area, there should be an adequate facility for the staff, such as changing room on lockers and facility to make drinks, lounge or dining room for breaks and toilets and showers, and staff should who cannot leave the premises, such as working at night and shift duties, should have some facility to store and prepare food. Also, the staff should be able to call for the personal security assistance, especially during unsocial hours. Then access entry to and exit from the premises should be controlled. Trial staff should not be allowed to access certain areas like kitchen, laboratories, and offices. And the door to such areas should be kept locked when not in use. Only authorized personnel like monitors, auditors, MHRA, and other regulatory agencies should be allowed to access to area where the trial subjects are studied. Monitors and auditors should be given a quiet and private area in which they can work during site visits. So repair, maintenance, cleaning the premises should be properly ensured. Then medical equipments like resuscitation equipment is mandatory, essential. Medical examination equipment to monitor the vital signs, electrocardiograph, and equipments for processing biological samples, refrigerators, freezers to store biological samples, and central monitoring system for continuous monitoring of all biophysical profile. An alarm system to the alert the staff even when the premises are closed should the temperatures of the refrigerator, freezer, IMB storage area be outside the unacceptable range. So the all investigational drug product or medicinal product should be stored in proper temperature condition without any breach of this thing. So clocks that are synchronized to ensure that procedure are coordinated throughout the unit. So other equipments according to the trial type are 24-hour ambulatory ECG Holter monitoring according to the study, and spirometry, lung function and cognitive function, treadmill equipments and video EEG monitoring should be there according to the type of study we are planning in the CPU unit, Clinical Pharmacology Unit. A specific person is responsible for the equipments. All equipments is maintained and checked regularly. Where appropriate measuring equipments is calibrated regularly. All calibrations and standard have a certificate to show they meet the national standard. Unit that do their calibration use standard with a certificate of conformity. So manufacturers or subcontractors that calibrate the equipment provide a certificate guaranteeing that it has been done to national standards. So all electrical equipment is tested annually for electrical safety. All equipment is clearly labeled with the date that its performance, calibration, safety that was last checked. Then computers. So all computer systems that capture, process, store, analyze and report the clinical data must be validated. There should be an uninterruptible power supply between the main supply and computer server rooms. The backup system should be secure and tested regularly. Then consumables. So there should be an adequate supply of consumables such as syringe needles, and they should not be used after their expiry date. Storage area, there must be a secure storage area for items such as medical records, case report forms and trial master files. So crisis management system, there should be a recovery plan for the disaster that damaged part or all of the premises, and a plan to deal with the medical emergencies. Then the staff, the number and type of the staff, how they are organized will depend upon the size of the unit, which type of CP unit, cardiac, yeah, coronary or ICU or neuro cases, neuroclinical research unit or oncoclinical research unit or the immunological clinical research unit or the new drug trial unit. That depends upon the unit. Enough medical, nursing, scientific, technical and supporting staff for the type and number of trials that are done in that unit. So all staff should be qualified by education, training and experience to do their job well. There should be a curriculum vitae, evidence of qualifications and training of all the personnels involved. So according to the guidelines for phase 1 clinical trial unit adopted from the Association of British Pharmaceutical Society, ABPI, the manpower or working task force of the CP unit should consisting of physicians. All physicians must be, this is according to the UK guideline. All physicians should be fully licensed to practice by the GMC, General Medical Council, GMC or equivalent qualification to be protected by the Medical Defense Organization and participate in continued professional development CPD regularly. 51 international equivalent UK qualification may be acceptable. At least one physician must be present in the unit during the normal working hours when the trial is in progress. Number of physicians required will depend upon the type and the nature of the trial unit. Some trials may require physician to be the resident in the unit during unsocial hours. The need will depend upon the level of risk of investigational medicinal product under investigation and the complexity of the trial. So units that are within or close to the hospital may be able to call the hospital resuscitation team, obviating the need for the resident physician. So all trial subject, whether the resident in the unit or not, must have access to the physician to report the adverse events or ask about their trial. The telephone numbers of the physician should be on the information leaflet and appointment card should be provided to the trial subject when entry to the trial unit. All physicians should know about the trial protocol clearly and also about the detailed supporting and supplementary documents. Then only they can able to manage the potential harmful effects of the investigational medicinal product and non-investigational medicinal product and trial procedures. So they will be well informed about the clinical trial regulation, good clinical practice, good manufacturing practice and the Declaration of Helsinki, and trained in medical emergency and resuscitation procedures. So who is a medical director? So a physician who has overall responsibility of the medical aspect of all trial unit with the qualification at least 5-year experience as an investigation in the phase 1 unit, or he is in charge of the training of other medical staff, plays an active role in the trial. So who is a principal investigator? A physician who has a responsibility for the medical aspect of one or more, but not necessarily all the trial. Qualification at least 4-year experience of patient care, post-medical qualification at least 2-year training and experience in phase 1 unit with supervision of an experienced clinical pharmacologist. is suitably qualified with a relevant experience in the type of work to be undertaken and has at least one of the following postgraduate medical degrees. So principal investigator has ultimately responsibility for the safety and well-being of the well-being and right of the trial subjects. In some unit, the medical director and principal investigator may be the same person. Rarely, the phase 1 trials are multi-center in design, in which case, the investigator with overall responsibility is called as chief investigator. So these all are taken from the ABPA guidelines 2007. So other things to be noticed are carried out many procedures. There are a lot of procedures to be carried out in phase 1 trial unit. Also, a senior nurse may manage one or more clinical team. There must be continuous nursing coverage for the trial subject. At least one nurse must be present in the trial unit when the trial is in progress. The number of nurses required at any one time will depend upon the type of the trial in progress. All nurses must be adequately qualified and for experienced in the work what they are doing. Be trained in the and they should be trained in GCP and they should strictly follow the good clinical practice. They should be trained in medical emergency and resuscitation procedures also. So the scientific and technical staff also should be adequately trained and experienced for their work or the trial related work with appropriate training, and they can carry out many of the practical tasks of the phase 1 trial unit. So they must assist the general care of the trial subject. They must not have the direct responsibility of the care. The scientific and technical staff may have the responsibility for the general management of the trial. So the supporting staffs like clinical staffs, project management, administration, housekeeping, medical equipments and quality control, quality assurance, IT, medical writing, data management, statistics, pharmacy, laboratory, sample preparation, training, all should be ensured in a large clinical trial unit. So what is an induction training? So if you consider all new staffs, including the part-time and temporary agency staff, should have an induction training in general matters such as confidentiality, security, health and safety, and use of standard operating procedure and company policies. Most new staff will need induction training in the principles of good clinical practice. Some staffs like physician, biomedical scientist must achieve a certain level of training each year to comply with the obligations for continuing professional development CPD. So all physician, nurses and other staff assisting with the care of subject must have regular training in resuscitation. So investigator must ensure that all staff assisting in a trial unit are adequately and informed about the protocol and investigational medicinal product and their trial related duties and functions. So relevant staff must be informed about and trained in changes to the standard operating procedures in this trial unit. So all staff must keep up-to-date record of their training. So how we recruit the trial subject in the trial unit. So a potential trial subject may be recruited from a paper or electronic database of the people who have indicated their willingness to participate in a trial, volunteer list say, by advertisement in the newspaper or magazine or on a notice board in the place such as university, hospital or radio, television or website, a word of mouth or by word of mouth or referral from another doctor. What is the method of recruitment? Subjects must be recruited of their own free will. Recruited only if they are capable of giving valid consent and have a fully and properly informed so that they can understand the nature and purpose of clinical trial, any risk, either known or suspected, any inconvenience, discomfort or pain that they are likely to experience that they can withdraw at any time without giving a reason, and the investigator may withdraw them at any time if they do not follow the protocol of their health is at risk. So these are the conditions to be satisfied while recruiting a subject to the clinical trial study. So screening, how we screen the patient. Once the patient is recruited, the investigator should judge the trial subject suitable based on the tests such as medical history, examination, medicine taken with a set period before the start of the trial, toll lead ECG, routine safety test of the blood and urine, and test for drugs of abuse such as alcohol, cannabinoids, cocaine, morphine, benzodiazepine, barbiturate amphetamines, and test for HIV, HB, SAG, and hepatitis C. Pregnancy test if woman is capable of childbearing and at risk of pregnancy. So trial specific test should be done like 24-hour ambulatory ECG, echocardiogram, lung function test, kidney function test, and genetic test. For investigational medicinal product that affect the immune system, test to exclude active or recent infections such as tuberculosis and genitourinary infection, and willingness not to travel to countries for where which vaccines are intended or the present at high risk of infectious disease during the period that IMP may be active, and information from the general practitioner. So time of recruitment and the screening panel. So investigator can recruit and screen the subject at any time for a panel of subject interested in taking part in phase 1 trial, provided record how given written approval of the product regulatory agency have given written approval of the protocol, and the subject have given the written consent. So identification of subject who are judged suitable at screening should be photographed to check their identity at the subsequent visit to the unit. Subject who are resident in the phase 1 trial unit should be fit with some identity badge or wrist badge or number or trial code should be given to them. The subject's identity must be checked before carrying out procedures such as taking blood samples, giving the trial IMP, and recording information in the case report form. Subject number or barcode should be used on all samples and result safety. The investigator must assess the health of the trial subject throughout the trial and should withdraw any subject whose health is at risk. Using asking the subject about the adverse events, medical examination, measuring vital signs like heart rate, blood pressure, routine safety monitoring of blood and urine, continuous monitoring of variables like ECG, pulse oximeter, specific other tests and lung tests may be needed according to the trial type to ensure the safety of the patient. So by these things I have reviewed you all about the basic amenities and requirements to setting up a phase 1 trial unit or CPU, clinical pharmacology unit. These things are relatively newer things to the common public and the scientific community and also medical fraternity also. So that's why I am keep a facilitation of sensitization to these things to the general public also, to the scientific community also, and the medical fraternity also. So and it will ensure the need for the setting a clinical pharmacology unit or the CP unit in, the, in at least one in a state. So follow up. Then we continue with the follow up. How will you follow up the patient? The investigator must follow up with all the subject after their last date dose of IMP for a period depending upon the IMP and the trial. Subject with adverse events, including the clinical relevant abnormal laboratory results, until they have resolved or it is clear that they are resolving. Then what's the requirements for the amenities like pharmacy, premises, facilities and equipments? All units should have a designated pharmacy area that is secure and accessible only to the certain staff. The type of premises and facilities and equipment should reflect. For example, the investigator for a trial of the IMP that is packed and labeled ready for administration. The individual subject will need only basic facility to store the and dispense IMP, and procedure to keep the record of the receipt, use, disposal, and retrieve. Right environment such as directional airflow that is controlled for particles, microbiological contamination, and temperature, and it is monitored appropriately. Designated storage area with a quarantine area for the investigational medicinal product. The right equipment such as laminar flow cabinet to prepare the sterile product, and procedure to comply with the good manufacturing practice, rigorous quality management system. So manufacturer's authorization to manufacture, assembly or import IMP, there should be proper authorization from the regulatory agency. So storage of IMP should be stored in designated area under conditions and for times recommended by the sponsor. Storage area have an adequate space for different IMP to be stored apart and temperature controlled, and if appropriate humidity monitored, and alarm controls be protect from direct sunlight. And be mapped to identify and avoid using hot and cold spots if appropriate, be secure and be accessible only to authorized staff, and have records of logging IMPs. So also the pharmacy should keep a stock of marketed medicine for managing common adverse events such as headache, nausea, and for managing medical emergencies other than cardiopulmonary resuscitation such as convulsions and low blood pressure. I think it's a lengthy discussion, but it's give a general sensitization of the clinical pharmacology unit and CP unit and clinical phase 1 trial. So I am continuing in this lecture. There should be a supply of antidote for the IMP, investigational medicinal product, if there is one. This medicine must be readily available to the clinical staff. And staff, the pharmacy staff must be suitably qualified and experienced and sufficient in number and type and amount of work that the pharmacy undertake. A registered pharmacist, ideally with manufacturing experience, should prepare or assemble the IMP. The pharmacist may delegate the work to pharmacy technicians, assistants, but must supervise their work. A physician or pharmacist should have overall responsibility for investigational medicinal product and marketed medicines, including emergency medicines. So the pharmacy should obey with the good clinical practice and good manufacturing practice, set the standard, including importing in all stages, all phases of the medicinal product IMP receiving till the IMP receiving and disposal. So importing, packaging, labeling, randomization, manufacture, batch release, sample and testing, building an emergency, blinding and emergency unblinding, retrieval and disposal. So documents to be kept is pharmacies manufacturing or preparing IMP must have a written instruction records for their manufacturing process. It should be possible to trace the history of each batch and any changes introduced during IMP development. And records, the pharmacy should keep the records of manufacture, preparation, packaging, quality control, batch release, storage condition and shipping of the IMPs. So supplying to how this supply to the investigator, principal investigator. The sponsor should not supply the investigator with IMP before the clinical trial agreement application is approved in writing. A regulatory application is approved in writing. The IMP has been certified by the sponsor. The code break is in place and the technical agreement between sponsor and investigator is in place. Then accountability at the trial site. The investigator, pharmacist or any delegate that should keep the record of each stage of handling and use of IMP, such as receiving it, assessing its condition on arrival, and notifying the finding to the sponsor, dispensing and manufacturing it, giving each subject the dose or dose specified by protocol, retaining the unused product to the sponsor or delegate, or destroying it as mentioned the SOP by the sponsor, keeping an inventory reconciliation of the EMP received from the sponsor. Then retention of sample. Manufacturers or importers of the IMP must retain sample for each batch or bulk product and packaging component used for each finished batch for at least 2 years after the trial. So these diagrams I got from my friend Dr. Sugant Pandit. He is my senior fellow and clinical pharmacologist of the KEM Mumbai with the permission from the department. So I am showing this is a basic amenity or facility of a clinical trial or clinical research unit with the central oxygen and vacuum facilities there. So phase 1 trial unit infrastructure and site requirement contains emergency trolley and crash cart, defibrillator, monitors, ECG machine, emergency tray and cardiac table, and the restricted pharmacy access and if any storage room, and deep freezers of different temperature range. And a dedicated pharmacokinetic service and analytical laboratory should be attached to the CPU for the clinical pharmacokinetic analysis of the drug. So dedicated pharmacokinetic facilities should be available on a real-time basis. An ultra-high performance liquid chromatography machine or LCMS machine or automated biochemistry analyzer to test the serum concentration of the drug or the monoclonal antibodies or whatever the investigational medicinal product. There should be an automated cell counter. There should be an attached biochemistry and pathology center for testing of the required sample as according to the study protocol. There should be a microbiological testing facility according to the study protocol and pharmacogenetic testing facility and NGS if available according to the need according to the need in the trial. Different trials need personalization. They include the genetic biomarkers and they are aimed at the personalization of the therapy and precision therapy. In the trials, we need the pharmacogenetic testing. And then atomic spectrum photometry, meter and ELISA is another requirement if heavy metal is involved in the studies that is needed. So these are some of the analytical equipments you can see in the diagram. This is a PCR thermal cycler. This is agarose gel electrophoresis machine. This is trans illuminator. This is also another PCR machine. Analytical laboratories in the TTM lab. You can see the LCMS machine, HPLC machine, an electrolyte analyzer. Then this is a biosafety cabinet. And this is the storage facilities, a liquid oxygen nitrogen tank. If a cell culture facility should be ensured, deep freezer, refrigerator, centrifuge, refrigerator, centrifuge should be available. Cell counter should be available for cell culture studies and the hematological studies. Semi-automated, fully automated analyzer should be available. Then if you consider this is about the analytical laboratory and the clinical pharmacokinetic laboratory should be attached. That's much about this survey facilities. Then we move to the ancillary staff and biometrics available. So the core staff should be on clinical pharmacologist should be there. Anesthetist, intensivist, and clinical pharmacist and study nurse should be there. Supporting staff like phlebotomist, lab assistant, and research coordinator should be there. Then skilled manpower with adequate training and experience in the phase 1 trial unit with the GCP certification should be ensured. Like faculties, this is a sample thing I have given. Faculties and visiting faculty, laboratory technician, research assistant, pharmacist, nurse, malaria technician, DM residents, and part-time PhD students all should be available. Then they should be trained in GCP, NDCT 2019, ICMR 2017, NABL accreditation rules and basic course in biomedical research and basic cardiac life support, advanced cardiac life support. And skill needed for a phase 1 trial or conduct a phase 1 to phase 4 studies. Then review of the investigation, new drug document and calculation of first in human dose. Development of study protocol and related documents such as informed consent CRF. Development of clinical study reports and preparation of manuscript for publication. Peripheral blood mononuclear extraction for vaccine studies and use of biosafety level 2 facility. Performance of drug assay and pharmacogenetic analysis and imparting of training to other centers. Then standard operating procedure should be there for each procedure. Some SOPs are essential SOPs are shown in the presentation. Multi-parameter monitor use, continuous infusion pump use, recording, reporting of ECG, how to use a defibrillator, measurement of blood pressure, procedure for phlebotomy and sample collection, transfer of patient from GA surgery ICU, including the transport ventilator, review and updation of the emergency tray, crash cart, and protocol for emergency evacuation in the event of fire and biomedical waste management. It should be trained and facilitated for all the staff of the clinical research unit or trial unit. Then data archiving of library. So dedicated data archiving facility including room, shelves with racks and logs, and biometric based restricted access room, preferably e-library for the documents with restricted access. So this is on format of King's Health Partners academic trial unit of the UK. So archiving process can follow some standard operating procedure. Then cost analysis for setting a phase 1 trial unit is the final part of this presentation, how we can set a phase 1 trial unit or CP unit. Ideally, allocation of 6 bed in ICU. Equipment dedicated to 6 bedded ICU. 6 multi-parameter monitor, 6 crash cart, cardiac table, infusion pump, 2 ventilator with adult and pediatric ports, central oxygen and vacuum, emergency tray with all medicines, and refrigerator for storage of medicine and consumables too, and patient shifting trolley 4. Bedside ECG machine 2, bedside defibrillator 2 number, intubation set with all size blade and ambu bags, adult and pediatric. APG machine 1, oxygen cylinder B type 5 in number, bedside ultrasound machine 1, spirometry 1, Holter monitor 1, treadmill machine 1, ophthalmoscope 1, otoscope 1. And this is a rough idea. It will vary, it can be increased in number or decreased in number according to the trial unit and setting, and attached other facilities. So attached pharmacokinetic testing facility and pharmacogenomic analytical laboratory should include a UHPLC machine and LCMS machine, biochemistry and auto-analyzer, automated cell counter, defreezer with a minus 20 degree, defreezer with minus 80 degree, and normal refrigerator with minus 100 liter capacity, sorry, 100 liter capacity. Then refrigerator centrifuge should be there, benchtop centrifuge, RT-PCR machine, thermocycler should be there, nanotrop, agarose gel reader forces, gel doc reader, biosafety cabinet, PCR cabinet, LSR reader, atomic spectrum, photometer are the essential analytical equipments needed in the CP unit, along with the liquid nitrogen tank, automated weighing machine, ultrasonicator, turbo nitrogen evaporator, flow cytometer, and spinner and water shaker. So I just approximately calculated the cost of setting a CP unit or clinical pharmacology unit if we are newly starting a fresh unit. So ICU code 6 should be there, approximately say 7 lakhs 80,000 rupees. Multi-parameter monitor 6 should be there, approximately OB 7 lakhs 80,000 rupees. Defibrillator 2, 5 lakhs 50,000 rupees. ECG monitor 2, 2 lakhs 20,000 rupees. Infusion pump 6, 3 lakhs 65,000 rupees. ABG machine 1 at least 5 lakhs 65,000 rupees. Ventilator 2, so it will be costing approximately 22 lakhs 50,000, 55,000 rupees. And ambu bag with the resuscitation set 3, 2 lakhs 88,000. Crash cart with all medication 6, 2 lakhs 28,000. Refrigerator 2, 1 lakh 20,000. Oxygen cylinder B type 6 in number 1 lakh 80,000. Oxygen cylinder portable 4 in number 20,000. Cardiac table 6 in number 66,000. Direct laryngoscope pediatric and adult 4 in number 20,000. Pulse oximeter 6 in number 18,000. Walking pulmonary function test 1 for 4 lakhs. Holter monitor 4 lakh 50,000 rupees, and treadmill 3 lakh 50,000 rupees, and ophthalmoscope 20,000, otoscope 28,000, computer with printer at least 2 should be there, and 1 lakh 20,000. Sphygmomanometer 3 should be there, 20,000 rupees. Stethoscope 3 should be there, 12,000 rupees. Automated biochemistry analyzer 1 should be there, 40 lakhs rupees, and UHPLC machine approximately 40 lakhs rupees, and LCMS machine approximately 50 lakhs, starting from 50 lakhs. It should be, it can reach up to 1 crore or 1.5 crore rupees. And D5 freezer minus 20 degree approximately 9 lakh rupees, and minus 80 degree also 9 lakhs rupees. Automated cell counter approximately 55 lakh rupees, and artificial machine 15 lakh rupees, and biosafety cabinet about 7 lakh rupees, one in number. So